The subject this evening is a little different. The survival of civilization. Now, Indian civilization dates back to 3000 BC. And one of the axioms of India's civilization is this: he who conquers himself is greater than the conquerors of nations. In spite of the fact that India has been invaded and conquered, still, India is the repository of spiritual treasure because she has absorbed those people in spite of their differences of religion and helped them to realize the universal of which all religions are a part. India is the repository of spiritual wealth, and at every stage is influencing the civilization of the world. And especially at this time, when India puts her house in order economically, politically, socially, and the people are aroused, that background of spiritual treasure will be felt as India takes her place among the nations of the world to influence them and help to make this world better. That is, to bring about the brotherhood of man under the fatherhood of God. Of course, the Master came from India, and he reflects this spiritual treasure of India because it was he who instilled in us and helped us to bring forth from deep within our souls the realization of God's great love. Now, Buddha was a product of Indian civilization, Hinduism, and he said there are two qualities necessary to fulfill one's mission. First, wisdom. Second, compassion. Now, wisdom is a great faculty, because by wisdom we can understand that this life is simply a play of God's consciousness. And when we see others suffering, we can realize that when the dream is broken, they will not suffer anymore. We realize there is no reality to the dream. But still, on the other hand, we must have compassion for them, because to them who have not realized this as a dream of life, the play is very real. And so Buddha says these two things are absolutely necessary: wisdom and compassion. And now, if civilization is to be saved, these two qualities must be observed right now. We must develop spiritual fervor to use all this civilization which we have, which we see about us, especially in America. The wonderful things we have established and do. All these things must be used for human welfare. Not by force, but the human element must assert its dignity. And we must work for the human welfare, as I have said, not with force, but with love. We have accomplished wonders in technology and material advance. But now, in order that we must work for human welfare, it is necessary that we develop our spiritual side. The Master said that very thing. He said, the spiritual side must be developed. The world needs America for her wonderful advancement in material things, and also the world needs India for her spiritual wealth. I had the pleasure of listening Sunday evening to the Vice President of India, Dr. Radhakrishnan, a profound student and scholar. And he spoke wonderfully about the necessity of preserving civilization and how it must be done. I felt that if I could have added that Self-Realization Fellowship Yoga would give you the how to do it, that it would have been complete. One important point he brought out, which impressed me very much, was this. He said, the human element must assert its dignity, not just taking its place as a tool, but as a reflection of the one spirit. That is, the human element must not be thought of as just a cog in this vast civilization, this technological civilization, so to speak, but it must assert its dignity as a reflection of the one spirit. And we must develop spiritual fervor to use this civilization and its benefits for human welfare. Now just a word about Indian philosophy and Self-Realization Fellowship Yoga. Indian philosophy says, do not cling to dogma. Self-Realization Fellowship Yoga says the same thing. If you cling to dogma, you stay right there. You do not advance. Indian philosophy says these differences of dogma, on the other hand, do not matter. It is not necessary to quarrel. There will always be differences. They will always exist. But that is no drawback. The thing we must do and realize is that all must know the universal, for all religions are a part of the universal. And so Self-Realization Fellowship Yoga shows us how to realize our spiritual side, how to know the universal. And so the religion of India perhaps will be the criterion of the world civilization. And the ideals of America and India are the same. India accepts all religions. It starves them and shows them the underlying unity. America accepts all, irrespective of race or creed, and allows freedom of worship, freedom of religion. And so America and India have caught on to the fact that we are all created equally. There is no difference. There is one God, and we are all reflections of the one eternal Spirit. And so the spiritual side must be developed. And the development of the spiritual side is brought out more especially by Self-Realization Fellowship Yoga, the techniques and methods of which you are familiar. The path leading to the development of our spiritual side is the path of yoga. Yoga means union, union with God. The path lies through the tree of life within, the spinal region with the great spiritual center at the top of the spine, the thousand-rayed lotus. This corresponds to the roots of the tree of life, as I have often said, and the trunk and the branches to the spinal column. And in that spinal column superficially, we find the era and pendular currents of the spine. In the physical, they are the sympathetic nervous system. These subtle currents flow there. And when we become one with them, follow back, and enter at the point between the eyebrows at the Christ center, then we enter into the deep spine, the subtle spine, known as the Satsang. It is there that we feel the conscious power of yoga. It is there, when we become one with the tree of life, that we can roam, as the Master says, in the cranium above, in the cosmic bower. Here we feel our oneness with God. As we enter the deep spine and become one with the Spirit itself, with the concentration of God's great love and power, then, by His grace, we follow up in the deep center of the Satsang, in a little central canal in the spine, we follow up to the thousand-rayed lotus, and that is the path back to God. And so the path to bring out our spiritual side is found in self-realization, fellowship, yoga. And all who will can attain. The Master has brought that special dispensation for all who will to attain union with the Infinite.